Heather. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you're having a good day. Today's practice is gentle yoga, and we're going to stay cozy and calm today. So a lot of this practice is low to the ground. We will do a few standing poses that are always optional. Grab a blanket or two off your couch, because a lot of these poses you can literally do spread out on a blanket on your carpet or floor. And just remember to be gentle and kind with yourself. So go ahead and get into something comfortable, grab some water, a couple of those blankets, and I'll meet you back here on your mat. Okay, so we're gonna start low to the ground, and as I mentioned, you can have a blanket or two nearby, and if you want to spread that blanket out and let it cover your mat so you have a little softer surface to begin, feel free. If you prefer just to come flat on your mat, that works too. So coming onto your back, we'll begin with awareness to our breath and to our body. So as you come down, find a comfortable position for you. And that might mean that you stretch out, or maybe you have the soles of your feet on the mat. Or perhaps if your inner thighs feel like they need a little stretch, you can join the soles of the feet together and allow your knees to open out to the sides. But there's no right or wrong here. All you want to do is get cozy, right? Get comfortable. And as you feel yourself relax into your mat or to your blanket, just begin to hit the pause button in your day. So carving this time out for just you, and feel really good about that. You deserve to spend time with yourself, be gentle with yourself, and time with your breath, and time to just take inventory of how you're feeling. What is your state of mind today? What can you let go of that feels heavy today? And as you rest, simply bring attention to your breath. You can bring the hands to your belly. As you inhale, feeling that belly expand. And as you exhale, pulling that belly in. As you inhale, allow your breath to deepen. And as you exhale, allow the breath to soften. Allowing your breath to bring you some ease and calm. It's so important that we spend time with ourselves, finding this sense of calm and ease, so that we can be more present for others in our lives. The old saying of love yourself first so that you can love others is so true. So never feel guilty about taking time for yourself. Whether that's taking a yoga class or reading a book, taking a walk by yourself. Just learn to be comfortable with yourself. And releasing the hands down, you can open your eyes if they're closed. You can gently just turn the head over to the right so that you feel a little lengthening, a little stretch on the left side of your neck. Notice if the shoulders react in any way. Just do your best to stay relaxed in your shoulders. And slowly bring the head back through center. If you feel a little stuck along the way, just pause until the head can easily come through center and drop the head over to the left. And you can close your eyes again here. Just pay attention to your body. Pay attention to where you feel any tightness or resistance. And do your best to relax and be soft. And then lifting the head back through center. We're going to do it one more time to each side. Dropping the head over to the right. Once the head comes over to the right, take a deep breath. And lifting the head back through center. Dropping your head over to the left. And with everything in today's practice, always move at your own pace. My cue might be a little fast or it might be a little slow. But don't feel rushed or feel like you're gonna miss out. Just move at your own pace. And lifting your head back through center. You're gonna bend your knees, so if your legs are straight or the knees are out to the side, go ahead, bend your knees so the soles of your feet are on your mat or your blanket. And gently hug your knees into your belly. You can rock a little side to side. Start to massage your low back. This usually feels pretty good to most of us. And dropping just your left foot down to the mat, keep your right knee hugged in. You can interlace the fingers, place them below your right knee. If that's challenging, you can grab behind your right knee, or you can slide the hands down onto the right shin. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, pull your right thigh onto the right side of your belly. Inhale, you may feel the belly expand and almost push that right thigh away. Exhale, pull that right thigh in. Do this for 3 more breaths. Take your time, allow your inhale to deepen and lengthen, and the exhale to be complete. As you inhale, reach your right foot up towards the ceiling. Gently take the hands around the back of your right thigh. I'm going to start with some ankle rolls. So rolling that right ankle around. We'll go 5 times in each direction. Be patient here, there's no hurry. And as you finish the ankle rolls, pull the right toes back to your right shin. So you feel that yummy stretch through the back of your right lower leg, a little bit through the hamstring. Point your toes up to the ceiling, and then flex the foot, pulling the toes back. You're going to inhale, reach the toes up. Exhale, pull the toes back. And 3 more times. Before you know it, it's going to be flip-flop season again, right? And so we want nice, strong, flexible feet and ankles. Hug your right knee back into your belly. Cross your right ankle on top of your left thigh, making a figure 4 shape with your legs. So you can use your right palm, place it into that right inner thigh, and just add a gentle press there. No need to push too hard. You're almost adding some comfort with your right palm, encouraging that right hip to relax. Your left hand can come right into your left hip crease to keep that left hip down. And a few breaths here. Begin to hug your right knee back into your belly and drop your right foot down. We'll do the same set of poses through the left side, hugging that left knee in. Interlace the fingers below that left knee, maybe behind if that's a little more comfortable. Inhale, expand through your belly. Exhale, pull that left thigh in nice and tight. And this pose is known as Apanasana in Sanskrit. And Apanasana, the word apana means wind. And this is wind relieving pose. So it's a digestive pose without getting too graphic, but it can help relieve some bloating, or if you have that really full feeling after a big pasta dinner. You always want to do the right side before the left. But it's also a really good stretch to increase flexibility in your hips. It helps with your low back, as well as stretch the psoas muscle, which can be tight on many of us. As you inhale, reach your left toes up to the sky. Take the hands around the back of your left thigh. Start to roll that left ankle around. These repetitive functional movements are pretty simple, right? These ankle rolls, but they're really important, especially as we age, to re-educate our body on how to work properly. And then pulling those left toes back towards your left shin, lift your left heel up to the sky. Your left knee can be bent here. Inhale, point the toes. Exhale, flex, pull the toes back. Few more breaths. Bending your left knee, hug the left knee back into the belly. Cross your left ankle on top of your right thigh. You can place that left palm right into your left hip crease. And gently add a press. Not too much effort behind that press. It's more about the left hand just encouraging that left hip to relax. I like to place my right hand on my right hip crease just to remind my right hip to be heavy and grounded. Begin to hug your left knee back into your belly and drop your left foot down. So you're going to stretch out, take up some space, Reach your feet forward, reach your arms overhead. It's that good morning stretch. Hug the knees back into the belly and drop both knees to the left. So you're gonna come all the way over to the left in a fetal pose. And you can use that left arm as a pillow if you like. I'm gonna stay here a few deep breaths in this fetal pose. It's usually pretty comfortable for most people. It's a really wonderful position for your spine. Your spine is nice and neutral. And we're gonna invite some somatic yoga movement in here today. Somatic yoga is really a study of movement, and it's thinking about what's happening in your body to make a movement possible. And so we're going to explore a spinal twist in a somatic way. Go ahead, lift your head up slightly so that you can reach your left arm out to the left. And then just allow the head to drop down. You're gonna inhale, reach your right arm up towards the sky. And exhale, take that right arm all the way over to the right. And you'll know when your stopping point is, right? You might not bring that right hand all the way down. You may. But when you start to feel a lot of resistance in your body, that's your stopping points. Inhale, lift the right arm back up. And exhale, come back to the starting position. Inhale, lift the right arm up to the sky. Exhale, right arm reaches over to the right. Inhale, lifting the right arm up. Exhale, bring the right arm down. You got it. So you're just gonna keep going with your breath. Allow your legs to be heavy. It's okay if there's space between them. And really take your time here. Long breath in and long breath out. And 5 more times. As you inhale and lift up, feeling the twist begin in the spine, and as you exhale, feel the opening through the right side of your chest. Three more. These somatic movements, they're repetitive, but they also invite a meditative quality to your yoga practice. The mind is focused on the task at hand. One more. And as you drop that right arm out to the right, you're gonna stay there. Breathing in. As you exhale, relax the back of your right shoulder down a little more. 2 more breaths. Inhale, lift that right arm up And exhale, come back to fetal pose on the left. And rolling onto your back, take your time. Rock a little side to side. And it's not unusual at this time for one side of your back to feel a little different. One side of the legs to feel a little different. We're gonna even you out. So you're gonna roll over to your right side in fetal pose. And you can use that right arm as a pillow for a few breaths. Begin to lift your head up and reach that right arm out to the right. Right palm is up, and relax your head down. Inhale, reach your left arm up towards the ceiling. Exhale, dropping that left arm out to the left. Just work with your range of motion here. Inhale, lifting the left arm up. Exhale, come back to the right side. And you got it. So enjoy each breath. Relax through your tightness. You may find that with each repetition, you become a little more flexible. You can go a little deeper into the twist. Allow your legs to be relaxed and heavy. And 4 more times. And just honoring how the head wants to move and adjust with you. Be soft in your neck. And you take the last one and drop that left arm over to the left. You're going to hang out in the spinal twist for a few breaths. Do your best to be a little heavier through the back of your left shoulder if you need to adjust your head at all. Maybe reach your right arm out to the right a little more. As you inhale, lift that left arm back up to the ceiling. And exhale, you're going to come into that fetal pose. You can bend your right elbow, bring the right arm under the head for a little more support. A few breaths here, just so we can get ready to come up to our seat, but I don't want you to rush up. And at your own pace, use your hands to begin to rise up. Take your time because you've been down for quite some time, so there's no hurry here. As you come up to your seat, you're just going to join the soles of your feet together in butterfly. And as you come into your butterfly, you can slide your heels forward if you feel really tight in your hips, or maybe walk your feet in a little closer to the hips if you have a little more flexibility in your hips. But allow your spine to be really tall. Inhale. As you exhale, hinging from your hips, come forward. And you can relax the hands or maybe take the hands under your feet. Inhale, lengthen through your spine. Exhale, come forward. And reaching the chest, the belly forward. Be mindful of the neck. So a lot of times we tend to drop our chin down towards our chest. Instead, keep a nice neutral neck. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, close your thighs together. I'm just going to slide your feet forward. Coming into a nice seated fold, I'm going to turn to the side so you can see this alignment. So you want to sit really grounded through your sits bones. If you tend to sway back and you feel discomfort in your low back, you can take your blanket and just start to fold it up a little bit so that you have a little lift under your bum. You can fold that blanket all the way up for a higher lift and bend your knees. Your pelvis is slightly tilted forward, so we don't want to be swaying back with our pelvis tilting up. Instead, sit tall, hinge forward at your hips, and walk your sits bones back. Then rise up tall through the sides of your waist. Inhale. Exhale, bring your long torso forward, and you can just relax your hands. Gaze down between the lower legs. Relax your shoulders. Your knees can be really bent here. If you can reach your feet, you can take your peace fingers and hook them around the big toes. And then close the circle around the big toes with your thumbs. Allow your feet to be neutral so they're not pointed or overly flexed. As you inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, reach the heart forward and down. Begin to rise up, releasing. So we're going to come off of our blanket. So if you're using a blanket that's folded up, go ahead and scoot off of it. You can just do a really messy fold, right? You don't need to have a perfect fold here. We're going to open that blanket again on our mats, but for now, we need a little bit of a sticky surface. So come into your tabletop position onto all fours. If your knees are sensitive, you can add a blanket under your knees to pad them. Cat and cow, wonderful way to move your spine through extension and flexion. It makes us feel good. It releases tension and tightness in our back. And it's really simple to do. As you inhale, drop your belly, pull your heart forward. And exhale, begin to push through the hands, round through your upper back, tuck your tail. Inhale, drop your belly, heart reaches forward. Exhale, rounding. Three more times. Move with your breath. One more. As you find that neutral spine, bring your big toes together to touch. You can widen your knees if that feels good, and sit your hips back to your heels. Go ahead, push them back there. You can sway a little. You can come onto your forearms for child's pose, or you can find extended child's pose, reaching the hands forward, bowing the head. Whichever feels more comfortable to you. Don't feel like you need to force your body into a particular shape. Right? Pay attention to what feels right in your body. Some days, child's pose for me, I want to be more lifted, right? My hips might feel tight. I might feel tight in my shoulders. So I want to choose a position where my breath can flow freely. Remember to be gentle with yourself. Begin to lift back to your table. Walk your knees under your hips. We'll just play around with some hand positions to help build more strength and flexibility into your wrists. Turn your fingertips out to the side. Push down through your hands. Then turn your fingertips towards your knees. And it's okay if they don't go all the way around. I promise you with practice, you will gain more flexibility here. Maybe you rock a little forward and back if you've been doing this for a while and that feels okay. And then turning your fingertips forward. We build a downward facing dog. So from your table, walk your hands forward a full hand's length. Your shoulders are well behind your wrists. And you can turn your fingertips slightly out, right and left. Don't over exaggerate it, but just a little bit can help you in your wrists. Curl the toes under and begin to lift the hips. Separate your feet at least hips width distance apart. They can go wider if you feel tight in your low back. And bend your knees. Relax your head. Feel that your ears are in line with your upper arms. Start to push your belly, your chest back towards your hips, back towards your thighs, and start to sink the heels down. Breathing in and out. Bend your knees, gaze forward to your hands, and take little steps up towards your hands. And as you arrive at the top of your mat, nice easy fold. Knees can bend a lot here if you mind this forward fold in your low back. Bring your elbows up onto your thighs. Or you can relax the hands down, maybe grab opposite elbows. Maybe you sway a little. And release the hands down. Bend your knees. Feel grounded through your feet and take your time. Rise up, because we were down on our backs for a good 20, 25 minutes. And now all of a sudden, we're standing. Our perspective has changed. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Exhale, bring your hands into your heart. Samastitihi, equal standing. Release the hands down. So make sure you have space around you, right? That you can turn the arms out to the side. You're not going to hit anything. Bend your knees. allow your knees to be soft. And you're just gonna start to turn side to side. And as you turn to one side, maybe the heel on the opposite side lifts. So as you turn to the left, maybe your right heel lifts. And as you turn to the right, your left heel lifts. That's just gonna be a little friendlier to your knees. Be loose and free. And then imagine that you have a shirt on that has really long sleeves. And those sleeves are gonna start to dangle down. And they're gonna start to wrap around the body. This is called coat sleeves, right? And it's a repetitive movement. And you can start to focus on your breath. As you go to one side, add a little exhale out your mouth in a ha, 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 ha. And it might feel a little kooky, it might feel a little weird to you if you've never done this, but be brave, right? Ha, 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 ha. It'll get your body moving a little bit, your heart rate's gonna come up a little bit, it's all good. Be soft in your knees. Ha, 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 ha. And you don't have to worry about your inhale. Just focus on that exhale. Ha, 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 ha. Relax through your upper body. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome job. That comes from Kundalini Yoga. Kundalini Yoga, when you first start it, it does feel a little strange, right? So I'm proud of you. Pat yourself on the back. Bring your feet in, hips width distance apart. Inhale, reach the arms up. Take a big breath in. Exhale, fold in half. Bend your knees. Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway. So think of lifting through the back of your head and your tail. Exhale, fold down. Rise through standing. Reach to the sky. And exhale, fold in half again. We're just going to flow through these half salutations. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Rise through standing, reach to the sky. Exhale, fold in half. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. 2 more. Inhale, rise tall. Exhale, hinge from your hips. Pull your belly in, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Rise through standing. And this is our last one. Exhale, fold it down. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Step your left foot back, and you're going to turn both feet to face the left side of your mat. And then bringing your hands to your hips, rise up. So looking down at your feet, the outer edges of your feet are parallel to the top and back of your mat. That might mean that you're a little pigeon-toed. It might mean that you're straight on. It just depends how you're put together. Feeling weight into your feet, you can keep your knees soft, and our fold is going to come right from our hip creases. So go ahead and take your hands to your hip creases and start to fold in half. The knees can bend as much as you need to here, and then release the head down. Release your hands down. If your hands don't quite meet the mat, you can put a folded blanket under them. If you have yoga blocks, you can use blocks under your hands. We're in a wide-legged forward fold. Relax your head. Think of your tail lifting up to the sky. And engage your legs. We've been pretty loose in our legs, but now start to push the front of your thighs into the backs of your thighs. Breathe here. As you exhale, see if you can relax a little deeper. Inhale, start to lift your chin, bend your knees, lifting up halfway. Pause here. Bring your hands to your hips. Push through your feet. Take your time, rise up. Turn those left toes in slightly. Turn your right toes to the top of your mat. And you should be standing on a tightrope. Your right heel is in line with the arch of your back foot. Hands are at the hips. Start to feel your left hip lift up higher, and you're gonna hinge at your right hip. Just lean over that right thigh. Right hand comes down onto your right leg. Left arm lifts up. Push through your feet. Reach up through that left hand. And make sure you're not dumping a lot of weight into that right hand. If you have a yoga block, you can always place that block just to the outside of your right calf. And feel broad across your chest. You're in triangle pose. Amazing standing pose because it strengthens your legs, your core body, opens the chest and the upper back. It can help with over curvatures of the spine, so those who suffer from scoliosis, this is your friend. Reach that left arm forward all the way to the top of the mat, as if you're gonna reach right over those right toes. Push down through your left foot. Inhale. Exhale, bend your right knee and start to rise up. We're just gonna go the other way. So both feet face the side of your mat. Left toes turn to the back, right toes turn in. If you used a block on one side, maybe taking it over to the other. It all starts in the hips, pushing that right hip back, hinging from your left hip, lean over your left thigh. So resist the urge to turn your heart over your left thigh. Keep your heart facing to the side. Left hand down, right arm up. You can always use a block just to the outside of that left leg. Little micro bend in your left knee. Inhale, reach up through your right hand. Exhale, ground through your feet. Inhale, reach that right arm overhead. Reach it over those left toes as much as you can, stretching through the right side of your waist. Bend your left knee and begin to push through your feet. Rise up. Both feet face the side of your mat. Awesome job. Bring your feet in a little closer. Standing with your feet hips width distance apart, we're gonna challenge our balance today in tree pose. So if you know that you're a little wobbly in your balances, no worries. You can always come to a wall, and you'll want to start with your left hand against the wall for support. Or if you're in the middle of the mat, weight into your left foot. Lift your right heel and open your right knee out to the right side. Slide that right heel in. So you can imagine there's a wall over to your left holding you up if you need it. Push your left hip in, right? You can actually take your left hand and push that left hip in, because sometimes when we do tree, we kind of do one of these numbers, right? Where we're kind of pushing that left hip out. You want your left leg to represent your tree trunk, right? It's strong, it's straight. Maybe the right foot slides up a little higher. Hands to your hearts. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, ground down through that left foot. And it's a little windy today, so maybe sway a little bit. It's all good. to your heart. Release that right foot down. Other side, weight comes into your right foot, sorry. So if you're gonna use a wall, it's that right hand that's on the wall. Left heel lifts. Open the left knee out. So why do we open out first? Because this is a hip opening pose. Slide that left foot in. The left toes can stay grounded. Hands to the heart. Push that right hip in and up. Maybe you slide that left leg up. And if you feel really wobbly in this pose, as you reach your arms up, focus on pushing the left foot and the right leg together. So they squeeze together, creating a nice stable tree trunk. And as you exhale, release the hands, drop your left foot down. Awesome job. Turn and face the top of your mat. And if you were using a block, you can go ahead and set that to the front. So I'm gonna have you grab that blanket if you used one for the beginning of class. And you're gonna open it out once again onto your mat. Time to get cozy again. I'm a big fan of blanket yoga, and as I was starting to teach outside, even through the colder months, I incorporated some poses that were called blanket yoga, seated poses with a blanket wrapped around you. But we're inside in the warmth of your house anyway right now, so we're using blanket yoga a different way. All right, so come seated onto your mat, onto your blanket if you're using one. Come back to butterfly, so soles of the feet together. We're gonna create a pigeon pose, and pigeon is a wonderful hip stretch, and we can do it in many different ways that work for our different bodies. So starting in butterfly, open that left leg out to the left side, and this is where a blanket is really nice because you can slide that left leg out. Sitting here nice and tall, you're gonna hinge at the hips, come forward. And this might feel really tight, it may feel really easy. Think of dropping your right knee out to the right side. And you wanna keep your sits bones, your glute cheeks down. So if you started to come forward and your right knee is a little higher, this is gonna be the place you stay. And you just focus on relaxing where your body feels tight and gradually coming a little further forward and dropping your right knee out. If this is really easy for you, you're going to lift up, grab your right ankle and bring your right heel in towards your perineum a little tighter. So you have a nice closed knee. So what that looked like is we were here, and then I just brought the heel in, and now my knee is nice and happy, right? Your knee is happy like this. It's happy like this. It's not so happy with the rotation, right? So that's why we close the knee, and this pose becomes a little safer in our knees. Take the hands and allow them to frame your right knee, and you're gonna swing your left leg around and lift yourself up so that your right glute cheek is lifted off the ground. And it's okay if there's a lot of space there. Resist the urge to sink all your weight to your right. Instead, imagine that your hip points both face forward. You can come down onto your forearms. Blocks or a block or another rolled up blanket under your forearms can create a little lift. And you should feel this stretch through the glutes, through the right hip. It's a nice lengthening through the front of your left thigh, your left hip flexor. And a few breaths here. So remember, if this is too intense, just come back to that first seated option where the left leg is out to the left side and you're just folding forward. relax, right? Notice if you feel tight in your upper back. Relax. Maybe you shimmy a little. About 3 more breaths. Make them big. You can exhale out your mouth. Let go of some of that tightness. Let go of anything that's making you feel heavy or stressed today. And if you're down on your forearms, start to lift up. And now shift your weight all the way over to the right. Swing that left leg back around. And we're all gonna come back to the butterfly because it's a nice home base. So bending at the knees, soles of the feet come together. You can fly your wings. And if you went into that pigeon or even stayed in the seated version, your right side's gonna feel different than your left. So let's even you out. Right leg extends outward and just come forward. All right, so try to relax your left knee. So again, you may only come a little bit forward and this is gonna feel tight in your body, or you may be able to come way forward and that left knee is practically touching the ground. We're all gonna be different. Just embrace those differences. We all have our gifts, right? We all have our challenges. So if you're really comfortable and you're pretty far forward, we're gonna build that pigeon on your belly, or you're just gonna stay here and focus on relaxing your right leg, paying attention to where your body is resisting, and try to relax. If you wanna move into the traditional pigeon, grab that left heel, bring the heel in towards the perineum. Hands frame your left knee, swing the right leg around, and lift yourself up. Walk that right leg back there. You got a blanket there, it can slide back there pretty easily. Make sure you're not dumping all your weight into your left glute cheek. Instead, lift up. Feel tall through your chest, and then come forward. So you can roll up the front of that blanket for a little lift. You can use a second blanket folded up. A couple pillows off your couch works under your forearms, or a yoga block or two. Think of the front of your right hip coming down towards the ground a little more. And no matter which position you're in, relax your legs. Right, these are yin postures. Yin yoga is a passive form of yoga that stresses connective tissue rather than muscles. So we're working on building flexibility and increasing our ease of movement, our range of motion. And whenever you build a yin pose, you create a shape in your body, and then the goal is just to relax. Relax your muscles. Relax where you feel tight. Very nice. And you start to lift up. Now you can shift your weight all the way to the left. We're all gonna meet back in that butterfly. Take your time getting there. And fly your wings. Awesome. Close the thighs together. You're gonna separate your feet at least hips width distance apart. They can be a little wider. Lean back onto your hands. Windshield wiper the knees side to side. And allow this to be easy and free. And then coming all the way onto your back. So if you have some blocks or pillows in the way, go ahead. Take them out of the way so you can come all the way down. Bend your knees. Feel the feet flat on the mat. And from here, windshield wiper the knees side to side. We'll get one more little mini twist and a stretch through the front of our hips before coming into Shavasana. As the knees sway over to the left, let them hang out there. Come on the outer edge of your left foot and the inner arch of your right foot. And you'll feel your right glute cheek is gonna lift off the ground. It gets this yumminess right into your right hip flexor, down the outside of your right thigh. Lifting the knees back up through center, drop both knees over to the right, come to the outer edge of your right hip, you're not your right hip, you are on your right hip, but the outer edge of your right foot, inner arch of your left foot. And really relax that right inner thigh. I love this simple pose because it's a great stretch through the left hip and left IT band that is tight on most of us, that runs down the outside of your thigh, but it's also a nice release for the inner thigh, the groin. Lift both knees back up to the sky, hug your knees into your belly, push your low back into the ground and rock a little side to side. When you feel ready, drop your feet down, go ahead, stretch out. And you want to make yourself super cozy at this time. So maybe that's adding a pillow or another blanket under your head. Maybe it's just stretching out. Maybe even taking the sides of your blankets and covering up a little bit, right? Wrap yourself in a little cocoon. But do what feels comfortable and cozy to you. And allow your body to relax. Scan from head to toe. Maybe adjust to invite a little more softness. Invite a deep breath in and out. Another deep breath in and out. And release control over your breath. Allow it to return to its natural rhythm. And be soft. Give yourself permission to rest. always welcome to stay here as long as you like. Or gently allow the feet to find their first movements. Maybe wiggle the toes, maybe circle the ankles around. Slowly turn the head side to side. Wake up your fingers, your hands, perhaps make fists and roll the wrists around. When you feel ready, take a full body stretch. Reach the arms overhead behind you, flex your feet, and begin to bend your knees. And choosing a side, roll over to that side in fetal pose. You can use an arm as a pillow. And gently use your hands, lift yourself up to your seats. Coming into an easy cross-legged pose. Allow your spine to be tall. Join your palms together at your heart. Thank yourself for coming to your mat today. Give thanks for this day. And I thank you for sharing your time and your practice. Namaste.